But you've got your coffee ready to go? Oh, yes. I've got my rainbow kitties. For my LBGTQ, did I get them all? Whoop, and my cat.
Awesome.
I had to call Rachel. I was like, okay, I think something's wrong. Help me.
Okay, so I'm going to do a quick intro and then we'll get started. Sounds good? All right. Yep. Hi, everyone. I am CJ Warrant, author of dark romantic suspense and thrillers in contemporary and male romance. My cohort, Rochelle Bradley, writes romantic comedies, contemporary, and paranormal romance. I want to welcome our special guests here today, Miski Harris, author of our male romance, whose tagline is Life, Love, and Faith Without Limits. She was born and raised in New York City. She worked as a critical nurse care, served in the military, raised 5 amazing sons, which I met one. He is amazing. And traveled to other countries, sometimes all at the same time. Friends, patients, and associates have always found a strong advocate in Miski, who is not afraid to speak her mind, which I've seen firsthand. Hi, welcome.
Woman.
And then we have Miss Missy Jane is the author of contemporary erotic paranormal romance and urban fantasy. Her alter ego is Texas, mother of 4 who has been married to the same wonderful man for many years. Missy writes such creatures as vampires, shapeshifters, and gargoyles, just to name a few. When not writing, she spends her time reading, taking photos of her wonderful children, training her husband to believe she's always right. Right on! My first question of the morning is, what is your favorite beverage you like to drink?
Hot chocolate. I'm drinking hot chocolate right now.
Not a coffee girl?
No, I used to be a coffee girl, but nah, hot chocolate is more my speed now.
What about you, Miski?
I am a total coffee girl. As a matter of fact, as soon as I finished this question, I left my coffee. Gotta go get it.
Go get it, girl. Go get it.
My morning drink is vodka. No, just kidding.
It's okay. It's
coffee.
Coffee keeps me going until it's time for wine. That's just how it goes. I'll be right back.
Yeah. My drink of choice in the morning, I have to. My brain just doesn't function well without my coffee. And since I don't drink decaffeinated, I drink decaf coffee now. I don't know if it's my brain saying, wake up, it's got coffee, it has no caffeine in it. I don't know. Does it have a little caffeine
Just
still
a
in
teeny
it?
tad.
Maybe teeny tiny. And maybe that's what's like spurring my brain cells like, go get the caffeine. So, yeah.
It's just the taste of it, because I'll drink, when I really crave coffee, I'll drink decaf also, and it's just the taste, and the smell.
Yeah,
it just satisfies that
when it's brewing like that. It's a marvelous. It's a wake up call for me. It's a wake up call.
Yeah.
Well, CJ, I will tell you that I was decaffeinated for a year.
Yes.
My church went on a fast, and so to make my doctor happy, I decided to decaffeinate. And I think it's the smell of the coffee brewing. The body just recognizes it and says, yay, the fix is coming. Because as long as I had something resembling coffee in the morning, nobody got hurt. The only thing is, it didn't work as well for my ADHD. I had to go back to having that stimulant. So.
I like black tea too. Like sometimes I put a little cream in it, but since I had COVID, coffee doesn't taste the same to me. And I weaned myself off of sugar a long time ago because I have family that's diabetics, and I was like preemptive, and I did it with flavored coffees. And then I thought, now that my taste buds have changed a little bit, or they're not quite back to normal, I might be able to go without cream. And I haven't tried it yet, but I was like, I'm putting like 1% instead of cream, and I'm putting oat milk instead of cream, and I'm like, I can't tell a difference between what I used to drink. So maybe it's time for me to go black.
Hey, girl, once you go black.
Me, I gotta have some cream. I don't know, coffee without cream. I grew up in a household that's always got coffee on, and it's always milk and sugar. So I don't do sugar anymore, but I do like a packet of Splenda or stevia and raw, but any kind of cream. I am trying to get away from the cream, and I use like more coffee made a little bit because of the acid reflux I get from it. But otherwise, yeah. I like the white. I can't help it. But, so every once in a while, I do like black coffee because I love the taste of the coffee itself.
So you like a spurt of cream?
Yes, I do. Terrible of you saying that.
Well, we've got some people watching.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Okay, let's get up. So, ladies, before we get started with some of the other questions we have, one of my questions is, what are you currently reading, and what's your favorite genre? So let's start with Missy. What is your favorite? What are you currently reading, and what is your favorite genre?
Oh, okay. So, my favorite genre is probably, I kind of go through phases. I was in a historical romance phase for a long time, and I was just reading one right after the other, but I've switched back pretty much to paranormal romance. I'm not currently reading, or no, that's not true. I'm currently reading on my phone, Kindle app, a romance about centaurs. Like, I guess it's kind of like a fantasy, paranormal fantasy romance, and I can't remember the name or the author, unfortunately. I pulled it up on my phone because, like I said, we just took a trip this weekend, so I needed something that I could read on the plane. And it's interesting. I've never read one with centaurs before. It's different, but it's fantasy, which I like straight fantasy as well. So, and I'm sorry, I don't know the author or the title of it right off the top of my head, but it's a good book so far.
I get the same way. I totally forget about the name of the author. I'm sorry?
Is it based like in Greek fantasy, or is it just on its own?
No, it's pretty based in Greek fantasy. The girl is in modern times, but she's studies Greek mythology, and she works at a university, and then she gets the opportunity to go through a portal, in which she knows she's about to do. And it's not one of those where she just accidentally ends up in another world, but she knows she's going through this portal, and she ends up in a world that is it's centaurs. It's their world, and it's all pretty close to the Greek mythology that we know. So it's interesting.
That's cool. I enjoy Greek mythology. I actually tend to pick up books like that.
Yeah. Well, she doesn't have a whole lot. Like, it's not real strongly written. There are some mentions of the gods and that sort of thing, but it's more about the fantasy. It's more about the centaurs than anything else.
Right. Well, that's fine. I mean, I wouldn't be able to call my schooling anyway, or recall it.
Well, I'll try to remember what it is, or I'll look it up later, and I'll let you know.
Oh yeah, you can put in the comments later for everybody.
Yeah,
exactly.
There we go.
What about you, Miski? What are you currently reading right now? And what is your favorite genre?
I don't have a favorite, if you can believe that. I'll read anything. When I was a kid, I'd read cereal boxes if there were no books around. But in the romance genre, my favorite is contemporary. I do have some paranormal and kinky artists, so to speak. What I'm reading right now is Andrew Gray's Nowhere to Ride series, and I'm up to Nowhere to Run. I needed something that I could read on the plane as I was struggling to get home this week.
You had a crazy month so far.
But the convention was successful. So, but yeah, Andrew wrote, I love cowboys, and he wrote this, so far 3-book series. And that seems to be my kink this month, cowboys.
Cool.
Yeah.
What about you, Rochelle?
I'm currently between reads, but it seems to be, like I told you, fantasy slash sci-fi is what I've been reading lately. And that and some MM.
We will get you, my pretty.
We might need to swap books, because I've got ranchers and cowboys in mine, and I know you write MM, so we might be doing some switching here.
Yeah, we will. Yeah, we will. and my boys are men in uniform. Who doesn't love a man in uniform? I'm just saying.
And my cowboys read romance and then act out scenes. So,
author Penny Angeline joined us, and she just said she got to spend some time with me and Miski at the Authors at Alamo City event a couple weeks back, and actually Missy was there also. So the 4 of us was at the event, which turned out to be very, very nice. You know, I think we had a good time.
I didn't get to go to Texas.
Huh?
I didn't get to go to Texas.
I said my sister and my niece lives there, so we kind of flew in. But my sister wanted to be a part of an event that I was attending, so she was my PA along with my niece. So I had the 3 of us, and I'm like, I don't know if I can squeeze one more person in, or I would have brought Rochelle with me that weekend.
I don't know if I quite fold up well to fit in the suitcase, especially with your banner in there.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't even bring my banner. I ended up bringing the short one. So
I would have held it for you.
Yeah, you would have. You would have held it for me. All right. So let's talk a little bit about how your writing process is and what have you done so far. What are you working on? So Missy, how is your writing process? Where do you get your ideas? And what do you know? It's like, this is your next book that you're going to write. And what are you currently writing? I know all these questions I'm throwing at you.
Yeah. I'm a total pantser. I don't plan or plot anything, and I have so many works in progress right now. It's just not even funny. I have 4 different series that I'm trying to work on. One of them is my Gargoyle series, which is my more current one. My most current release was one of my Gargoyle books, so I'm working on the next one. I also have a series of Archangels. I'm working on the next one of those. I've got a contemporary series of 2 contemporary series. One is called the Erotic Art series, where it's based around like erotic photography. And then another one is called the Sophisticated Women series, where it's basically about cougars. It's about older women, younger men. So I'm trying to, all of those have started. They all have at least a book out, and I'm trying to I have actually started the next book in every single one of those series.
Sound like me.
Yeah. So
can I ask you, before you go on, since you have 4 series, are you dedicating like 3 months of the year to each one, or are you just kind of like whenever the characters are like, hey, take?
Whenever they talk to me, yeah. My brain is not that organized. I'm actually trying to get more organized, but my youngest just graduated high school in June, and we took him to college in August, dropped him off for 2 weeks, and then had to run back to New Orleans to pick. Actually, I'm sorry, we didn't even run back to New Orleans. We were ready to, but we had to prepare for him to come back 2 weeks later because of the hurricane.
Oh.
So my brain, I haven't actually written in a couple of months because my brain has been mush. So now that he's back at Tulane and things have calmed down, and we just took a trip, my husband and I went to Sacramento this past weekend, which we'd also been preparing for. So now I'm finally getting to a calm before the holidays. I do plan to participate in NaNoWriMo, so I'm now trying to decide which one of these books, and I'm not going to start a new one. My brain is like, no, God, please don't try to start something new. So
just be a rebel and work on them all.
Yeah, right, exactly. No, I'm just going to pick one to work on to get the 50,000 done. But on one of these that I have already started, because all of them need at least another 50,000 words. Maybe not the two contemporaries, because those tend to be shorter, but I just got to finish something, you know. I'm hoping to finish something by the end of the year for publication in maybe February, because I do still have to get the cover art and the editing done and everything. So yeah, nothing new from me until probably February of next year.
Awesome. What about you, Miski?
I think we talked about this. I have Cruise rolling down the finish line, finally.
Can I go into your luggage?
Yeah.
I'll fold no matter what.
Well, I have a present for you, CJ, because as you know, we talked about this. I pick up plot bunnies everywhere, and I want you guys to meet my newest plot bunny. Can you see him?
Yummy.
He was sitting because, as you know, I went to gay romance literature right from Authors in the Alamo. So while I'm working on Cruise, and I have Leopard's Lair and Damage Control all in the hopper, I haven't figured out what this one's going to be called yet, but this gentleman told me a very touching story. He's military. He's a Vietnam vet. And it was the story of how he met his wife.
Wow.
I don't know if I'll do it het, because I don't write het, and you know, you should really write what you know.
Right.
And I don't want to burn this story by trying something different. Besides that, he's already talking in my head about how it should be written. He allowed me to take his picture, and he let me read something he wrote about how he met his wife. I looked over at Ari McKay and said, God damn it, this was this was supposed to relax me. They took me on this cruise after I found out I was one of the 1,700 to lose her airplane seat.
Mm.
I got caught up in the Southwest debacle.
Yeah.
And so they took me on this cruise and took me to feed me, because they figured I hadn't eaten all day stressing out, which is exactly what was happening. And that's where I met him. He sat down next to me. So that's book number 3 now in the hopper.
So are you thinking of doing like a male version of that story?
I definitely am.
Okay.
I'm a pantser, but I want to write down what I remember of his story, because it was so beautiful.
Yeah.
Cruise will be out in November. Damage Controlled and Leopard's Lair will hopefully be out by February. But I got a feeling that this book is going to trump one of them, because I'm really excited about it, and I can still hear his voice in my head.
Usually the strongest ones are. Usually they're like at the forefront of your mind, and it's like, push away. It's me first.
Yeah, well, it's tapped your heartstrings, and so it's going to be very emotional for you.
It really is. I couldn't believe he let me take his picture. That was awesome.
That is awesome.
I don't know what it is with me and water, and I'm a fire sign, but boy, put me on the water and all kinds of things can happen.
It's called steam, baby. Fire, water equals steam. Ooh. Steamy. I'm terrible. So what do you have in the works? What do you have in the works, Rochelle?
Well, we are co-writing, so that's in the works. I've got the first in a spin-off series from my Fortuna Texas series. It'll go in an anthology, and that'll be released February 14th. It's called the Fortuna Dare Society, and it's a men's book club where they read. They were dared to pick a genre and a setting and a character out of a hat, and then they have to act out that with a significant other. The problem is, of course, that most of these people don't have significant others. And then, of course, some of them don't like what the characters are. And, you know, I'm going to focus on, each book is going to be on one of the men. And the first one is an older ranch owner. So it's going to be a seasoned romance. And they're all going to be sweet with a lot of innuendo because I write a lot of puns and innuendo into my stories. But it's going to be, well, depending on the character, because I've got one really horny, you know how they are in your head. He's just horny. And I have to, like, I've so many times I've been like, no, but they're married couple. And they're like starting to get busy. And I'm like, no.
Got to slam the door.
Maybe I should just write it and then not include it, and that way they get their whatever's out of their system. Who knows? But anyway, so I've got that one coming in February. I have I'm working on a paranormal romantic comedy ghost story, and it's called The Secret Shelf, and that was actually an anthology, but I'm expanding it, and it's actually kind of becoming quite cute, because when I put it in the anthology, it was hinted about a ghost, but the ghost wasn't like, you know, they're like saying, oh, that the ghost did it, but there wasn't any like actual like paranormal stuff. So that's been fun to change that and make it more ghosty.
I guess I'm more of like eclectic writer because I mean, I kind of span a lot of genres. I do like the darker romantic thrillers. I put a ghost element in there. So I have 2 books of that. And then, but currently what I'm working on, I am also a pantser, but I do plot out my characters, especially for a series that's coming up. So hopefully it'll come up, which it has changed the launch date 3 times. So hopefully this time it'll stick and it'll be out in March. But what I'm currently working on, I'm focusing on, aside from the collab with Rochelle, I am doing another male romance called 2 of Hearts. And it is the 3rd book in a novella series called Chance at Love. And it's going to debut February 14th, part of an anthology, but I'm extending it. So I'm expanding it to a larger form. So yeah, this will be my 3rd book, and I love the gay romance genre. So, and I really want to get into it more. So hopefully, once that book is done, which hopefully by the end of this month, I'll start working on the 4th book, which will tie into a bigger series, which is a male romance series that I've been working on for a couple of years now, but I didn't know how to segue into it, and this is like the perfect direction with this current series that I'm working on. So
we're all doing Nano this year?
Yes.
I think I am. Are you too?
Okay. So let's talk about Nano just for a second, since I'm in an ML for the Dayton region and I got to plug Nano. I am a Nano evangelist. That's what I call myself. I've been writing Nano since 2008. And for people who don't know what NaNoWriMo is, it's an abbreviation for National Novel Writing Month, and it is happening in November. And the goal is, personal goal, you write 50,000 words in 30 days, and it breaks down to 1,667 words per day. But, you know, sometimes you have 4,000 word days, and sometimes you have 15 word days. It just depends on how your muse is happening. Plus, we got Thanksgiving and Black Friday, my husband's birthday. You know, it's just there's things in there that happen. But I really, what I love about NaNoWriMo, and you guys can chime in on this, is the community and then the accountability. Because you have, you know, well, of course this year because of COVID, we're not meeting together out. We're having Zoom meetings in our region, at least. But we also have that accountability. So you write something and you plug it in every day and you see your little chart go up, and, you know, you have a forum where you can encourage people and they can encourage you, or you can get some kind of help if you can't think of a name or a place or whatever. You know, you write yourself into a corner. Sometimes people can help you get out. So that's personally what I love about Nano. What about you guys?
Pretty much the same. I mean, I like that it's kind of a kick in the butt to me. Like I said, I haven't been writing that much the last few months, but knowing that Nano was coming kind of, it's propelling me to like I'm already getting ready to start, you know, day one to actually start writing again and making plans for my time and stuff. So I really like that it is, the accountability is probably what I like the most.
I attached to Nano because that's how I got my first book out.
Me too.
Don't Ask, Don't Tell was, you know, I was fooling with it, playing with it, thinking about it. You know how that goes. And as a novice writer, it was, who the hell's going to read this? I had author friends who were like, you need to do Nano. And I'm like, Nano? Is that some type of technology? Because
yeah.
But once I figured it out, found out what it was, I got the phone, but Don't Ask, Don't Tell done. And that's the other thing I like about Nano. It's showing up backwards.
Oh no. Says deadline and community and words and more words.
Yes.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
You win no matter how many words you get out.
Right.
I have yet to do 50,000 words, although Cruz is creeping up there. Damn those characters. I thought Cruz was finished many times, and but that's another story for another time. But that's how I literally I wrote it out and I sent it to a couple of gay men who had military backgrounds, and Fred Feely said, "It's a nice start."
It's a nice start. Is he talking about the romance aspects, or is he talking about the regular life aspects?
Johnny Williams said, "Okay, good outline."
So you had the bones and you needed to flesh it out more.
Yeah, so I did. Now I have Blake Allwood, who is like my alpha reader for Cruz. And oh my God, he's such a girl. You need more emotion. You need more emotion. Show, don't tell. That's my new thing.
Yes, show, don't tell. Yes.
And so that's why, you know, Cruz is working its way to 50,000. It was supposed to be another quickie. Yeah, the guys were not having it.
It's been it's been a few years because I've been so caught up with getting everything else done for me. But yeah, this year I am definitely doing Nano, and I am focusing on, for Nano, I am writing a different book. So this is my ADH brain. I could, you know, I'm going to do the one book, the fourth book or the third book of that series, novella, one time, and then write this other book, which is the second book in a series, that's hetero. So I'll be doing one for a male and one for a hetero. So I'll do both.
All kinds of things.
I just figured it out. You heard it here first. The title's going to be In Other Words, and that's what I'm going to do for Nano.
Woo! That's so appropriate for a writer too.
Do we get a mention in your book for your inspiration?
Yeah. I drive my editors crazy, but I always do two things. One is I always thank people. I don't think you can be a good author without being a giver.
Most definitely. I agree with you.
Because love is a gift that you can't receive unless you give it away.
Most definitely.
So I always mention the people who got me going. And the other thing is, I always do a prologue. You can't always write the backstory. People don't want to go through 10 years of history before they get to the current story. So prologues help you bridge the gap. And I know prologues and epilogues are not the cool thing these days, but I've always been me, so that's that. DJ, I want to tell you before I forget, GRL starts October 7th, that week. That's the week of the block.
October 7th for next year.
Yes.
But I went online. There was no registration. I didn't get a link.
Not yet. Registration will be in February.
Did you say October?
The week of October 7th.
Sorry, I'm looking at my calendar right now.
Miski, for the people who don't know, we explain what GRL is. I mean,
GRL,
yes, please.
Is gay romance literature. It is the event of the year in romance. So much so that those of us who already know and the friends we tell sit on the computer and wait for the exact moment to come that you can register.
Wow.
Button. As an author. This year, even with the pandemic, we had 100 authors.
Wow.
We had...
Please leave your message after the tone.
That's my office phone, and it just talks to me.
The reminder. Well, I registered through the GRL online, so I'm already registered.
That's
author.
Because when it's time to sign up as an author, you got to be able to get in there quick.
Yeah.
So get your page set up, your bio.
That's all done. That is all done. Image, you have the image all set. I might have to change my image because my hair is black. That's an old picture, and I've like grown out and changed the color because I'm going natural, as you can see.
Your hair's good like that.
Oh, thank you.
It's amazing. This was my first year as an author, and the line for me, CJ, I'm still crying. It was to the door.
Wow.
That is awesome.
How many books do you have?
Huh?
How many books out do you have?
I have two. I call it 2.5. But I knew I'd arrived when a woman walked up. She had this big old lady pocketbook, right? She reached in her pocketbook and she slammed 2 books down on the table. And she said, Miski, I need you to sign these. She actually paid full price for the paperbacks and brought them with her.
Oh, wow. That is awesome.
I was just
a fan. That's a fan.
That is a fan.
And I had men. Now, if you don't read you don't know how there is this thing amongst some gay men that women shouldn't write and it's kind of hysterical because 99% of the readers of are female.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And at least 90% of those women are cis women. I'm sorry, straight.
Straight. Not a lot of people know what cis mean.
Right. I am a flaming hetero, even though Blake Allwood calls me a gay man in drag.
That's awesome.
And but I think that the men that get mad is because they're trying to write and they haven't figured out that connection. Women are much more emotional. So
right.
no offense to male writers out there, especially because some of my favorite authors are male, but we write more from what we feel. And I think that's what makes MM so successful. There's emotion in there. But this is huge. It's a week-long convention. We have at least 2 parties where you dress up or not. I mean, it is the ultimate safe space. Ultimate. You will not be alone. If you walk in there and you don't know anybody, I promise you that will last about 20 minutes. We wear these name tags that are pouches, and somebody's going to walk up to you and say, hi. Are you by yourself? Do you know anybody? All the introverts recognize that look, and some of us have overcome it. And it is a bit overwhelming. You know, in a full GRL, you're in a room with hundreds of people. Somebody's going to walk up to you.
Don't you find that that's fairly common, though, at author events? I mean, I don't know. For me personally, when I go to the events, everybody is encouraging and inclusive and helpful. And I have met so many cool people and readers, their family members, authors, event coordinators, the hotel staff. Everybody is nice.
We're all in the same boat. We're trying to hit. I learned this year that being an author at a convention ain't as simple as you think, because you have to be on all the time. And so I learned to go to my room and take a break.
The cat.
See,
sorry,
you gotta feed them just before.
I did, and he's done.
I fed mine, so they're in my bed, taking up the space.
Oh,
he's got little white paws.
Yeah, mine usually I have to like shut the door and lock mine out of my office whenever I'm at home doing any kind of this sort of thing, because not only will they try to get my attention, but they will jump in and they like to lay on my chest when I'm in my office chair, and so they don't care what I'm doing. Yeah. They will push on me until I lean back enough. One will do it, and then when that one gets tired, they'll move, then the other one will come, and they just switch out, and I'm just cat furniture.
They just want your attention 100%, right?
Well, yeah.
I don't have a cat, so I don't know.
Walk across the keyboards.
So they want to help you to write.
Yeah.
Yeah.
During Nano, that's okay, because you get extra word count. It just makes editing hell.
Yeah, you know what I actually did? I bought a riser for my monitor so that I could slide my keyboard out of the way. It's actually almost too high now. I have to like lift my chair. But it was purposely so I could slide my keyboard under it so that when they jump on my desk, they don't end up writing for me or getting me on a different website or whatever.
That's a good idea. That's a very good idea.
Well, mine are mad at me right now because I've been gone for 12 days, and so they're kind of pissed, like, where the hell you been? We had no bed to sleep in. And the
warm bodies, the warm us.
You know, and so at night they like imprison me, and I don't know why they do it. I always wind up sending a cat flying.
Are you a roller when you sleep?
Roll, kick, you know. It is what it is.
I looked on Amazon I looked up your books because I wasn't familiar, and I hadn't met you in San Antonio. So I want to say that both of your
That was a little dig if you would just
no, I mean
dig.
next year, you know, my stories are in Texas. So one of these days I'm gonna go to an event in Texas. I don't know if I'll sell them, but you know, hey. But anyway, I got online and I looked up your book covers because I was not as familiar with your work. And I have to say that both of your book covers, I was impressed. They're beautiful.
Thank you.
Did you go through, did you do it yourself? Do you have a,
No,
I did not. Emmy Ellis did both of those, but I am a real pain in the ass about book covers because
me too.
I know what I
Oh
want
my, I'm very picky.
to look like. And I actually had the cover artist change the cover for Cruise because I like my cover in front of me while I'm writing.
right.
Because it expresses the emotion behind my book. However, Cruise changed. And so I said to her, we've got to change the cover. I thought she was going to throw something through the internet.
No, you have a working relationship with her, so you can do that.
Well, I have several. So Emmy Ellis did Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and she did Collateral Damage. She began to write. Damage Controlled, I am going to have Sam York do because Sam did this one.
That I love that cover. That man is yummalicious. That's all I gotta say.
I had given Sam the idea of what I wanted, and she said, well, the guy is cute, but let me give you, she gave me 6 choices. And I was like, oh. I said, is this a real model? Can I have him? So, in other words, it's going to be my sailor. Damage Controlled is a young man who he is an actual model. And I'm still working on that cover. But
yeah.
I think, in other words, I think I'm going to have Arden O'Keefe do.
That's cool. What about you, Missy? What are your
Oh, I have a black cat that looks just like that. His name is Mojo. Jojo, sorry.
Oh,
but anyway.
From the Powerpuff
from Powerpuff Girls, yeah. My gargoyle covers were done by Canaxa, who is Natalie Gray, author Natalie Gray, and she's just awesome. She did all my gargoyles. They were originally, the first 2 books had originally been published by Sam Hain Publishing, and then when they closed down, I lost the covers, and so I asked I had known already she was the artist for them for those covers, so I reached out to her and said, look, I'm going to be self-publishing these books. You want to redo these covers for me? And she said, absolutely, yes. So they're the first 2 are a little similar to the original. Or actually, no, the first one's similar. The second one was pretty different, but the third one was completely new book. So it's, completely new, but she's awesome. And
they're gorgeous covers. They're gorgeous.
Yes,
covers. They are.
I agree. Thank you. I think she did a great job. But so I'm going to keep asking her to do them, for the rest of the series, because it's going to be a 6-book series. The other books that I have out, the contemporary, were done by, and I'm drawing a blank, and I feel really, really bad because Seneca. I don't remember her full name, but Seneca is the one who did those for me. And what had happened when those were originally published through Alora's Cave, they had. And now I'm glad I'm drawing a name on a blank on his name. The cover the model that was on those was a very famous model. He was on a bunch of books, and then he insulted ladies of a larger size online. And
I think I know who you're talking about, but I won't mention
you do. And like I said, I'm glad I blinked on his name, so I don't really want to promote him in any way. And so Seneca, a few artists had said, hey, if you have book covers with him on there, I will redo it for you, very low cost or free or whatever.
That's
and so
awesome.
Yeah, I wasn't ready to republish it at that time, but then I reached out to her because I think she may have actually been the original artist on that one as well, and said, look, I really do need this redone because I'm going to self-publish it, and plus I don't want him on my covers anymore. And unfortunately, he's on like I had like 11 books through Alora's Cave, and I think he's on all but one. But
now, did you get all your rights back once they all closed?
Yes, I have the rights. So yeah, I had three publishers close on me over a few years, and I had 20 books out. So I went from 20 to 0.
So let me quickly ask you about the Sam Hain. When I found out, I was like, holy cow. By that time, I mean, it was a surprise. Were you guys, did you guys get a heads up on it?
No, I found out from from a friend of mine who saw the Facebook post while I was at my day job and texted me and said, oh my God, Sam Hain's closing with a question mark. And I said, what? I was completely blindsided.
Was that the first time or the second time? Because didn't they turn around and like try to condense?
They did try. They did. Things picked up, and they tried to keep it going. Now, we'll say this: compared to Alora's Cave was the worst. They stopped paying us, and then they just finally gave up. And I mean, I hadn't gotten royalties from them in months by the time they said, "Yeah, okay, we're closing." Sam Hain was very communicative, but I think what happened was they did email the authors, but someone found out early and posted it to Facebook before the authors got the email. I was furious because it was devastating to me. They were my favorite publisher. I had a really good relationship with them. They were my first publisher. Loved everyone there, everything about them. And I mean, it literally, I had an emotional reaction to it. I couldn't write for months after that happened because it really was a blow to me. So then, yeah, I got all the rights back to all 20 of my books. Some of them I still haven't republished, so some of them are still kind of just waiting in the wings. But I am going to eventually self-publish all of those. And then I'm still, trying to get, because a couple of more series, and so I am still trying to get the next books in the series out. But yeah, I was trying to find, the original artist, because I liked most of my covers, so especially the gargoyles. So I just asked, who was this artist, found out who it was, and reached out to them.
That was nice for them to give you the name. Stuff like that.
What? Yeah, and they at one point they had offered to sell the book, the rights for the cover to us, if I remember correctly. I didn't have the money at the time, or I didn't want to spend that money at the time, so I didn't do it. But I'm kind of glad because again, my covers are similar, but they're not. They're different, and I like that that it's a different cover for kind of the different version of the book because I did tweak it a little bit. I did go back through the book and make some minor changes. So to me, it's like not a whole new book, but a new version of the book, Yeah.
Which book cover is your favorite? Do you have a favorite?
Probably, yeah, I would probably say the very first of the Gargoyle series, which is Born of Stone. And honestly, it's probably the very first cover is my favorite, the one that's not published anymore, because it was my most popular book. It was my best-selling because everyone thought it looked like Assassin's Creed.
Oh, my God, yes.
Yeah, and so everyone looked. I mean, I had men stopping and going, "What is this book?" Which is rare, because it's romance. And so, yeah, that was my best-selling book, and I really attribute it to the cover more than anything because it's just a great cover. It was so different from any other fantasy romance cover at the time, and I just really loved it. And so, yeah, that's probably my favorite. But I really like all of them, to be honest.
They're very, very handsome. What about you, Miski?
I just bought it, so.
Did you?
Thank you.
I want to read this book.
And I gotta tell you, so the first two books in the series are, they're hetero couples because there's 2 couples per book. The third one of the couples is MM. So just FYI, because I know that's where your interest lies.
If you're gonna read a series, you got to start from the beginning.
I know.
I mean,
I'm the same. I have to.
They're kind of standalone, but it's still in the same kind of world. And the thing is that when you kind of skip over, it's like, oh, I read like this because I'm more into MM. It's like, but you don't get to really experience that, the world and the people and the connections they make, especially in the first book. First book is imperative, no matter what genre, subgenre involved in here.
It tells all the story.
Most definitely.
Yeah, I just started reading a contemporary where there was so much of like the supporting characters in the beginning of the book. I had to put it down because it was book 3 and I didn't realize when I bought it. I had to stop reading it, and I'm going to have to start with book 1 because I just couldn't. I didn't even know what was going on. I didn't know who anybody was. So
right, it gets a little confusing.
Yes.
Well, sometimes they write. What do they call it? There's a difference. There's a serial and a series. I guess that's the difference. Like you can read my story. It's a series, so you get more information if you start at the beginning. But you can actually read them as standalones. So I don't know if that qualifies as a.
Yeah. In a series, often writers will say you can read it as a standalone. Don't tell. You can read each book as a standalone. The thing is, the characters that are now in the background were created in the prior books. So the inside jokes amongst friends. For instance, I have a character in Don't Ask, Don't Tell named Teddy. Teddy is smart as a whip. He has a master's in social work, and he's a drag queen. So he has a dual life, and so often EJ will call him a drag queen social worker. The joke that got set up in book 1. So when that's not so in the third book, Damage Control, EJ may make some of those cracks, or one of the other characters, Ron, may make some of those cracks, and you're not going to know where they came from.
Right.
Exactly.
He's not. This is his story now, so it's going to be more focused on the build of his relationship with David. So those little sidelines, you don't know what they mean, but in a series, it'll do one of two things. You don't care, or you go back and get the prior books. Read out. In a serial, if you don't read it from the beginning, you're lost.
Okay.
It's literally
you have to read the first book.
Yeah.
Because
I give you a prime author that does more serial-esque aspect. Let's say Megan March. I love her writing. I love like Beneath series, and there are different authors. So those are series, right? But then she has like these 3 book or these trilogies or these duets. Those are more serials because it's dealing with the same author, same characters going on this journey from book 1 all the way through book 3.
Yeah.
So it is. I love her books, so it's crazy. I love her books. So we got a few more minutes. So Missy, where would a reader, a fan would find you on social media, and how would they get your books?
Okay, so I am on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, as Ms., which is MS Missy Jane. Some of them it's just MS Missy Jane straight or MS_ Missy Jane, but I think mostly it's at MS Missy Jane. And actually, if you Google author Missy Jane, I should come up. I'm on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Books A Million, pretty much anywhere that you can buy books online. My books are through Draft to Digital, and actually, if you go to Twitter and look at my profile, there is a Linktree link in my profile that goes to all of my links. So Twitter is probably, if you have a Twitter and you can get to it, that's probably the easiest way to find me everywhere.
Yeah, I'll link up with you on Twitter. I'm finding more and more people. It's like, oh, I forgot I don't follow them, or I didn't friend them or anything. So yeah, I like to, because when you have, especially when you have a debut or you have a book coming out, or even a book cover reveal, Rochelle and I, we love to share. So, so it's good to connect. Good. What about you, Miski?
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I don't mean to interrupt. I apologize. I forgot. My Missy Jane on Facebook got hacked. I am now MJ Aragon on Facebook. I switched because there's going to be a new pen name. That's going to be a new pen name that I'll be using. So I apologize
for interrupting. I wish I would have known. I would have added that in the beginning.
That popped up on Amazon, and I was like, Aragon? She didn't say anything about that.
So are you moving everything over from Missy Jane?
No. It's going to be different. Yeah, it's going to be split.
Okay, awesome. What about you, Miski?
I'm on all the offenders: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I am not on TikTok. I'm never going to be. I too have a link tree because I'm also on BookBub and Prolific Works. And I've forgotten the rest.
All the places.
All the places.
Except TikTok.
I'm even on Goodreads. I mean, if there's a place to be except TikTok, I'm
slowly going into TikTok.
I don't have time, and neither does my PA. I mean, I don't. Well, I think it's because it's not even because I still work. I just don't have time. And so I figure, and besides that, everybody's TikTok videos show up on Facebook anyway.
Right.
Yes, they do.
You can share them everywhere.
Yeah. So whatever. I'm also on PNR. I have a very, very busy PA, and she just sticks my little ass everywhere.
I might have to hire her part-time.
Part-time. I also interview on Talk to the Beard. John Solo, the narrator.
I watched that. That was awesome. He's hilarious.
He is. And he keeps telling
him and his fucks.
He started that last year, and it's hilarious.
It is. It is.
But I love it because he gets me.
Yeah.
You know, it was funny. He really did what he said. When I put that last piece of banana bread in my mouth, he hit go, because the first time he interviewed me, we were so busy chatting that we had to like kind of repeat what we'd already said. Once we went live, it was like, okay, what do we talk about now?
That's what he said. That's what he said on the interview. That was hilarious. Well, we're coming down to the wire. If anybody has any questions, please ask.
Now would be the time.
Now would be a great time. Nick Winter's book say, "Hey ladies, loving this. Come on, Nick, join us for next year's Instagram. Our year has been booked up. It is awesome. Good. And half of our 2022 is also filled up. So it's getting filled up really quickly. So please join us.
If you're on Instagram, check my link tree. There's a link to the form where you can sign up. And if you're watching this on YouTube, because I will put this on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Feel free to share. And also follow us on all of our platforms. We have a Facebook group called Wednesday Coffee Clutching, where also the form is posted.
Yes. Well, thank you, Missy, and thank you, Miski, for joining us. It was great fun talking to you both.
Yes.
And hopefully we'll see you at the events. Miski, I'm going to be calling you later.
Yeah.
For details.
Because I'll probably see you in April at Penny's.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right around the corner. Oh, no, wait.
No, you're not going to be there. I will be there. All right. Well, you guys
Rochelle, where do you go? We got to talk.
I'm going to Pennsylvania to the Rebels and Readers next weekend, or this coming weekend.
Are you ladies going to be there in attendance?
No.
No?
I didn't know about it. I'll think about it. My cats might go on strike.
Well, there's always next year. There's always next year.
I'm going to get a chocolate martini.
I can't drink. I might just get the chocolate.
There you go. All right,
well, thank you so much for joining us. You have a good day. Bye.
You too. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
If you're out there, please